bàbá ṣọ́ mi. Ṣílò bàbá ṣọ́ mi. Kémi máa fìyà mi ṣayé lọ, bàbá ṣọ́ mi. Ọjọ́ wo la máa lò tán Elédùmarè akiri ṣorí. Kò sẹ́ni tí ó ní kú, ilé ayé àwa náà jà ní, ọ̀run nílé wa o, ilé ayé àwa náà jà ní. Bó jẹ́ rere ló mọ̀ ṣe, tẹpá mọ́ rere rẹ̀, bó jẹ́ ibi ló mọ̀ ṣe, tẹpá mọ́ ibi rẹ̀, ṣùgbọ́n ọjọ́ kan bọ̀ tí wá á padà lẹ́yìn asúnṣe jẹ́.
Àgùfọ̀ eré sí tòkè àlọ́. Àgùfọ̀ eré sí tòkè àlọ́. Lálá alàgbà ṣetán. Afẹ́fẹ́ ti gbé ọ̀gbun yìí lọ. Ó ti bẹ̀rẹ̀.
Ìrọ̀lẹ́ ọjọ́ kò ní kọ́jọ́ mìíràn máa yọ. Ìrọ̀lẹ́ ọjọ́ kò ní kọ́jọ́ mìíràn máa yọ. Kòkòrò jẹ́ kí n gbádùn obì tó gbó kéke. Àní ikú ó jẹ́ kíyá tó jìyà lórí ọmọ kó jẹun ọmọ pẹ́.
Ikú ó ṣohun tí ó dáa fún wa o. Ikú ṣó mọ̀ pé ó ti fòkúta fọ́lé àdùn ó tún fi fọ́tò yìí.
Orúkọ tèmi ni Adéọlá aya Ṣítù Àlàmú ọmọ Tinubu. Ẹ̀kọ́ tí mo mọ̀ nípa màmá mi, ìyá Adéọlá ni mo máa ń pè wọ́n torí pé gbogbo èèyàn ni ó mọ̀ wọ́n sí ìyá Adéọlá. Wọ́n lè ẹlòmíì gan ò mọ̀ mí, ṣùgbọ́n ìyá Adéọlá náà máa ń pè wọ́n. Wọ́n jẹ́ èèyàn kan tí wọ́n fẹ́ràn ibi tó bá mọ́, onímọ́tótó ni wọ́n. Wọ́n máa ń sọ òyìnbó gan, gbogbo òyìnbó tí mo gbọ́ àwọn náà kọ́ mi. Wọ́n dẹ̀ jẹ́ ẹni tí ó máa ń she's a disciplinarian. Nígbà tá a wà ní kékeré a máa ń wò pé wàhálà wọn pọ̀, pé bóyá àwọn tí ẹ̀kọ́ náà bí wa, a máa sọ èmi àtàwọn àbúrò mi a máa ń sọ. Ṣùgbọ́n a rí i pé ó pé wa torí pé kò sí ibi tá a lè gbé, gbogbo ibi tí à ń lọ wọ́n máa ń ṣe dànsákì sí wa pé ọmọ tó gbẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ni wá. That is a credit to her because wọ́n kọ́ wa ní gbogbo ẹ̀kọ́ ìbálòpọ̀, ìbágbépọ̀ ẹ̀dá. Wọ́n kọ́ wa bí èèyàn ṣe máa ń bọ̀wọ̀ fàgbàlagbà, ìyẹn tiẹ̀ ṣe pàtàkì gan o. Tó bá fẹ́ kí àgbàlagbà tí o bá gbìn ìgbàdo báwọn èèyàn ṣe máa ń sọ. Nígbà tí wọ́n bá lè bá ẹ wí lójú, nígbà tó bá délé, ìsídà kó gbọ́rọ̀ burúkú tàbí kó jẹgba. Torí àwọn èèyàn máa ń fi mí ṣe ẹ̀yẹ pé orókùn mi ò jìnnà sílẹ̀. Ara àwọn ẹ̀kọ́ tó ṣe kókó tí mo dì mú nínú ẹ̀kọ́ tán kọ́ mi nìyẹn. Wọ́n dẹ̀ tún fi kọ́ wa wípé wọ́n fi ọ̀nà ìbẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run náà wọ́n fi kọ́ wa. Torí láti kékeré ni mo ti mọ̀ pé láàárọ̀ á gbàdúrà, tá a bá jí lálẹ́ náà á gbàdúrà. Ṣé ẹ mọ ọmọdé orun ò mọ̀ kùn wá, ṣùgbọ́n bórun ṣe ń kùn wá yẹn náà máa nà wá pé ká máa kọrin gbogbo orin inú ìwé Baptist. Òun la mọ̀, àwọn kan wà tá a mọ̀ sórí torí ìgbà míì wà tó jẹ́ pé orin yẹn a máa ń sábà kọ. Wọ́n jẹ́ ẹni tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n fẹ́ràn ọmọ, kò sí nǹkan tí wọn ò lè ṣe nítorí ọmọ wọn. wọ́n fẹ́ lọ síwájú àwọn ọmọ wọn, wọ́n máa ń tiraka, wọ́n máa ń sapá láti rí i pé gbogbo àwọn ọmọ wọn wọ́n ṣàṣeyọrí. Kò sì sí nǹkan tí wọ́n lè fúnyàn. Wọ́n fẹ́ràn láti máa fúnyàn ní nǹkan. Wọn ò tiẹ̀ ní nǹkan tóyìnbó ń pè ní limit fún nǹkan, fún fífún ìwà fífúnni tí wọ́n ní. Tí wọ́n bá ti rí i pé o jẹ́ ẹni tó ṣaláìní nǹkan, wọ́n á sa gbogbo ipá wọn láti rí i pé o ò ronú nípa nǹkan tó ní yẹn. Ó dẹ̀ nígbà tá a kúrò lọ́dọ̀ wọn tó jẹ́ pé gbogbo wa a wà láàyè wa, ó farahàn nígbà tán kú, tán tèmi wálé tí mo wá ṣílẹ̀kùnlé. Àwọn kéékèèké kan kọjá wájú ilé wọn, bọ́n ṣe rí ta ṣílẹ̀kùnlé náà ní grandma ti dé, wọ́n máa fún wa ní biscuit. Ara àwọn ìwà tí wọ́n ń hù ládùúgbò tó fi jẹ́ pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn ará àdúgbò wọn ẹlòmíín sunkún gbà tó gbọ́ pé wọ́n kú. Wọ́n jẹ́ ẹni tó máa ń fifúnni, wọ́n jẹ́ ẹni tó fẹ́ràn èèyàn. Wọ́n dẹ̀ jẹ́ ẹni tó jẹ́ pé ìbágbépọ̀ wọn tẹ́ bá wà lọ́dọ̀ wọn tó bá ti jẹ́ èèyàn tó jẹ́ pé wọn fẹ́ rọ́, wọn ò fólè jíjà. Tó bá ti pa gbogbo òfin yẹn mọ́, wàá gbádùn wọn. Àsìkò tí wọ́n lò kó tó di pé wọ́n ṣaláìsí yẹn, àsìkò tó lágbára ni, ṣùgbọ́n a dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run wípé Ọlọ́run fi ikú fún wọn nísinmi. A lè gbàgbé wọn gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìyá, ṣùgbọ́n ohun tá a kàn ní láti sọ lásìkò yìí ni pé kí Ọlọ́run kí ó fẹ̀wọ̀n kẹ́wọn, kí gbogbo nǹkan tó sì fi sílẹ̀ kó má bàjẹ́. We love you, mommy, even at death, and you are forever in our hearts. Rest on, Ìyá Adéọlá.
My name is Adedamola Tinubu, and I am the second born and the first son of Mama Juliana Abebi Tinubu. I grew up to know my mom as a teacher and as a disciplinarian. I remember one experience vividly. We came back from school and we had an assignment, and that used to be a ritual. Immediately we came back from school in those days, my mom would sit with us to sort us out with our assignments. And being a teacher, he wanted to take me through the rudiments of arithmetic on that day. And I was interested in playing football with my colleagues, with my neighbors. And so I was in a hurry to get the assignment over and done with on that day. There was a formula for solving problems that she taught me. And because my mind was on playing football, I forgot that formula. You know, if you want to multiply something by 25, you add 2 zeros and divide by 4. You know, so he just taught me that formula, and then because I wasn't concentrating, I went through the long process. So I started multiplying, and I got a slap on that day. But that was the first and the only time that I can remember that my mom actually gave me a beating. I can't remember any other day that I was beaten by my mom. She was loving. She was one woman who would want you to have the best of everything, and that's the truth. When we were growing up, anytime she was coming back from work, she would make sure that she bought things. Um, in those days, we used to have treetop, you know, sometimes ice cream and all of that, just to store in the fridge, soft drinks and all that. And I can't remember one time that she got angry at the way we treated those things, because at random we just go to the fridge, you know, turn on bottles of treetop and all that, and then when it finishes, and then she replenishes and all that. And that's the kind of person my mom was. She will want you to be satisfied. Oh, talk about food. She wakes up very early, before anybody would wake up. And you can be sure that by the time it's 7 a.m., breakfast was ready for everybody, All right? And that she did for quite a number of years. In terms of spirituality, I remember that she was always fasting. At that time, I didn't know much about fasting, but she would deny herself of food, and then she would spend time praying. And that's strange for somebody who grew up in orthodoxy. You know, that time Pentecostalism was not too rife, and so. But she understood that spiritual principle of fasting and praying, and that she did also for a very long time. Of course, just like my sisters identified, and just like I also experienced, she was a lover of music. She was a chorister. She sang alto, and we enjoyed that part anytime we were having family worship with my father. My father also, sang in parts, and you would enjoy listening to them when we run through our family worship. All right, that's about her spirituality. But there's something I wrote about her um, that I want to clarify now. Because of her strong character, because she was a very principled person. A lot of people misconstrued her, misjudged her, and thought that she was a very hard woman. She wanted you to just do things right. She wanted you to get everything right. She didn't want you to make mistakes, and then she would tell you what time to take your bath. And if you didn't take your bath at the correct time, she would tell you you're wasting time. She kept on hammering things about how to make good use of time. You know, um, that was the kind of person my mom was, and also for her generation, it amazed me that she was a stickler for good spoken English. I'm telling you, a stickler for I learned some of the vocabularies that I use today from her. You know, she loved to use words, good words. As soon as she heard words, she would make sure that you use such words so that we can learn from such words. Um, she was an educator, and she lived well. I guess because of her leaning towards God, somehow God located her, and then she was the camp manager for Campion Guinea there for almost 5 years, and she left a good testimony there. There was not one single person that came to Campion that didn't say good things about her. I remember one of the pastors from Oritamefa Baptist Church that came and actually testified of her hospitality, and that's the way she is. Now, talking about hospitality, also, I can remember now that while we were growing up, we were born in Lagos, and we lived in a two-room apartment somewhere in Ishagai in Surulere, and because herself and my father came from the suburbs, so to say. She's from Odiomo, my father is from Iresi. Um, and you know what it feels like when you locate to a place that is deemed to be urban. Every other person wants to come in, and so we had quite a number of uncles, trooping into our house in those days, and we all had enough and more than enough to eat. And I can't remember once that my mom complained that he was tired and fed up of feeding all of us at that time. She was very hospitable, herself and my father. They are very accommodating, you know. So that's the kind of person my mom was while she was alive. Um, there's no doubt about the fact that we will miss her. And I must say this, what pained me the most is the fact that she took ill for a long time, and she went through a lot of pain before she passed on. Um, God understands that. I still ask myself why that should be her. I asked myself that question because now I remember that when I was seriously ill in 1992, she would come and kneel down by my bedside and then do a personal prayer for me when medically the advice was that nobody should come around me because what the ailment I went through that time was very infectious, and there was an instruction for family members not to meet around me. But she would come into my room first thing in the morning to pray with me. None other person did that. And then in the evening before I slept, she would come in and pray with me. Very dedicated mom, very loving. We didn't express enough of this to her while she was alive. We saw the hard part of it. But we thank God. We thank God for her life. And we believe that she's resting in the Lord right now.
Tayo. I'm one of Mama Olufunke Abebi Tinubu's daughters. I want to say my mommy is a very great woman, totally industrious. She loves all her children. She's so sacrificial. In fact, from all the testimony of people about her, everyone, she has a lot of, she mentored a lot of people. I remember while we were growing up, our house was filled with uncles and relations, and everybody was flowing perfectly. You don't even know the difference between them. Our house was always full. I so remember, and all of them, they are paying off now, because even while she was alive, all of them, they don't always stop talking about how she raised all of us, and how they were with us, and how she mentored them and all. You know, my mother takes everybody, even when she got married, all her in-laws, all the children, every one of them, she takes them as one. She's so accommodating, and she's so caring. She's a good cook. I remember one of my uncles that used to be with us, when he eventually got married, because my mommy makes momo every Friday. My uncle must come. Even after he had gotten married, he must come on Friday to come and take momo. He will take to his home, he will eat. I remember one of my brother's friends too. That one has relocated now. He always targets my mommy's amala, you know, with vegetable, with ewedu, abuland, whatever. He always targets it, and like that. A lot of people are fond of my mommy's cooking. Even my daddy, no matter where he goes, he must eat my mommy's food as long as he returns to the house. You know, and my mommy is so caring to the husband. Even somebody testified to that in church today, that she really loves my daddy so much. And the same way my daddy too. My daddy, he wouldn't he always said it, that he doesn't want my mommy to go before him. And that was his choice. And because of the strong love between two of them, because of the bond, people call them young couple, even up until their up until my daddy left and everything. you know there's a strong bond between two of them. You always see them together, wearing the same ashwebi. In the evenings, when after the day's work, you see them outside relaxing, you know every time. So my mommy is so caring, so loving. She's everything you ever wish for in a mother and wife. I want to thank God for placing her in our lives. I remember when we were growing up, she was always proud of the university she attended, our premier university, that's University of Ibadan. And she would be telling us of how her university was fun, and how we are going to school now as if we are just laboring. And she used to teach us Queen's English. Your English has to be on point with my mommy, because she's a teacher par excellence. She was a teacher par excellence. My mommy believes in excellence in everything she does. Very meticulous, very articulate, very hardworking. My mommy is totally industrious. If it's anything legit, my mommy is in. You know, while she was active, she would sew, she would do crochet, knitting. She had a poultry farm. She would sell chicken, turkey. I remember that time she will kill one turkey and she will make sure that it gets to at least four of us, all of us at that time, our families, different families. She will share one turkey. Those turkeys used to be very big. She will sell mangoes, fruits in the farm and everything, eggs, just name it. We used to cut nylon together, you know, just name it, anything legit, she's doing it. She's the perfect example of, when they say somebody hustles for work or not for any other thing. Once she just sees that this thing is profitable, my mommy is in, she's doing it. She was very strong, very agile, even up until death. you know we know that she's a very, very strong woman, and she's dedicated to God. And she showed us the way to serve God. Every morning when she wakes up, she first do her morning devotion early in the morning. You will see, if you wake up early in the morning, you will see her praying on her own. Then she will take a shower before anybody wakes up. Before other people wake up, she will take a shower. She would have prepared food. She would now call us for morning prayers, general prayers. We take the prayers together. We will take our memory verse. You must take your memory verse in the morning, you know and in the evening too, when we are praying. My mommy and my daddy, they love hymns. So by virtue of that, we too, we started liking hymns. They made the home very comfortable, very warm for us. Some people don't like to go to their homes, but they made it very, very comfortable for us. Even my grandchildren, my children, that's their own grandchildren, they're always like, oh, they love being around. Anytime they come around, they're always happy. And she's the one that calls me my pet name, Ashake. She say, Ashake darling. When I greet her, she'll be calling me praise name, Ashake Kiniko. I don't see anybody to call me that again. And for that, I miss her. And because I was opportune to spend the last moments with her, those were those moments were are so precious to me. you know I want to say she's everything you can ask for in a mother. I want to thank God for her life. Very loving, very caring, very selfless, very focused, very diligent, prayerful, you know so full of life, very accommodating. There's still a girl here that has been crying, talking about how mommy was to her, you know, that so she will not see anybody to, you know, call her, take care of her. She will talk to, when we came back, when she was dead and we came back, children were happy that, oh, grandma will be giving us biscuits again. They didn't know we brought her dead body in. They were excited when they saw that the house was open again. They didn't know that grandma had passed, and they were like, oh, we'll be eating biscuits again. They used to pump water for people free. And they were happy again that, oh, now we'll be fetching water again and all. So I think God has graced her with a lot of virtues. And when you look at Proverbs 31, it's so relatable to her. It talks of a woman that is industrious, that wakes up early in the morning, sees the land and buys it. Yes, that's my mommy for you. She never forgets the grandchildren's birthdays. My mommy's brain is so, I don't understand. She will tell you precise things with dates. She will tell you something that happened maybe in 1940 something, 1950 something. She will tell you the date, she will tell you the time, she will tell you the event. I don't know how she manages to remember all those things. She's totally detailed. And I think she had a sound mind even up until death. And she always tells us, she says to us, people should be hardworking, because rest is sweet after labor. And that's all she did. She worked hard while she was alive. And I know that her rest would actually be sweet, because she has worked hard, she actually labored. So I believe that our rest will actually be sweet in Christ. So I want to say, needless to say, that I miss her. You know, her voice is always ringing in my ears, because towards the time that she was leaving, she was always calling my name. She was always calling me when she needed attention and all. I want to thank God that I was able to do some things for her, but I'm so pained that the last moments I didn't have enough time to spend with her because I was doing some work, and the time I came, I was sitting down with her. She was mumbling, she was saying her parting words, and I couldn't figure out what she was saying. And I kept on saying, "Mommy, what are you saying? What are you saying?" I was holding her hand and saying, "What are you saying?" I didn't know those were the final words I will hear from her. And only for me to check later and see that she was gone. You know, it was a whole experience for me, and it hit me so bad that, so this, she was passing and I didn't even, I was not so sensitive. I was still like, oh, in the morning I will spend the whole time with you. I will not go to church. It was a Sunday. And indeed, I spent that whole day with her, because eventually, when she passed, I was the one that brought her body back to Oshogo. So that whole day, we were together, even though not alive. I want to give God all the glory for the life she spent, 84 fruitful years. We thank God for all. And I want to say, Mama, rest well, rest on. Your daughter, Adetayo, misses you and loves you so much. My name is Adewuni Alamina, ni Tinubu, and I'm Mama's last born, Mama's baby. Okay, so if I'm going to talk about my mom, she's I can't tell it all. She is she's a full book. She's a whole book. Whatever it is that I know today in terms of being a decent woman, in terms of knowing how to relate with people, cooking, whatever it is that a good girl is supposed to know, she's the one that taught me. She was just like, she taught us everything. I discuss this with my biggest sister all the time. When we see people behave somehow, and we'll be like, don't they know they're not supposed to behave like this? We'll just be like, thank God for Yadiola, because she taught us. She touched every aspect. This is how you're supposed to keep the home. This is how you're supposed to relate with people. This is how you're supposed to keep yourself. This is how you're supposed to sit. This is, you're supposed to be hardworking. For my mom, my brother was saying in church that when she wakes up, she's the first person to wake up. She's always the first person to wake up. And she would, say do her own personal devotion before she comes to wake everybody up for devotion and all that. And as she's giving us chores, she's also doing one thing or the other. She doesn't sit. She doesn't sit. I used to tell people that now I can make moi moi very well, but I never made moi moi for her. She would always make sure she's in the kitchen. She would be the one to do it. And that's how I learned. I just learned by watching her, picking the leaves, giving her the leaves. I saw how she folded it, how she mixed it, how she mixed her pepper, you know. So you can't be lazy where she is. She's very, very hardworking. She was very hardworking, very, very energetic, you know. And she used to tell us that Omalagbara lo ma n yole, which means that is the child of someone that is strong, that is usually lazy, because She wants us to be up and doing, and she used to be very impatient with us when we're not up and doing. You can't wake up in the morning and just sit down and just be looking. You dare not. And when she goes out, and that time when we were growing up, when she goes out, anytime she's coming from school, because she was a teacher. So when we're in the house and then she's coming maybe from school or from a church program or something, she'll start greeting people from the gate. Anybody and you'll be hearing her voice, hello, Ekaso. So we know that she's coming. So once we hear her voice like that, everybody will just start running up and down. How is the dining table? How is everything? There's this thing that we put on the, I've forgotten what you call it now, this chair handrest and everything. Is it because my mom will notice everything, and everything has to be in place, else nobody will rest. And for me, she really made an impact. She made a very strong impact in my life, because growing up, I was also growing up to be a very spoilt child. My dad spoilt me a lot. And when all my siblings had left, and she noticed that, hey, I didn't even know when water was boiling. As I think when I was in GS1 or primary six, if they tell me to boil water, I won't know whether water has boiled. I didn't know how to do anything. So then she knew that, oh, I have a work to do, and then she got to it, and she made sure that I complied. Going through that process was not easy. I remember always looking at the door, waiting for my real mom to come and claim me. Because I'm like, no, this can't be my mom. I want my real mom to come and claim me, you know. But all these things are the things that, when I became an adult, really endeared me to her. Because by the time I went out, I saw that all those things that she was telling me there, she was teaching me life lessons. She taught me things that helped me along the way, things that at the end of the day endeared me to bosses, endeared me to people around me. you know People will just want to be with me because they say, oh, you are level-headed. I'm level-headed because my mom did a good job on me. And she was a great lover of music. We sing together. Sometimes she sings. She's a very good tenor. Sometimes she sings alto, and sometimes we just sing together. I just raise a hymn, and or she raises a hymn, and then we just start singing in melody. She will sing the alto part, I'll sing the soprano part, and I can remember several moments like that. Sometimes with my dad as well. My dad would join because he was also a great lover of music. And like it was also said in church, she was very, very accommodating. She was very accommodating. Um, there was a time when I was in uni, because I was a member of my fellowship choir. So we had administration in Poliede. Then she was in Campion. So my friends were just like, let's branch and see your mom. Now I was like, hey, all these people, because we were like 20, and we entered Ede around 7 p.m. So it was late, and there were no phones then. So there was no way I could even call her to tell her that I was coming. So we got into Campion. I went to meet her. I said, I'm with my friend too. I'm very sorry. She was like, what's your problem? She didn't say what's your problem, but that was her countenance. Like, yes, you're with your friends. And then she came, she just brought out drinks, everything she could bring out to entertain my friends. She brought it out. And until today, my friends still, I mean, my choir members that are my friends then, they still talk about that time that we remember your mom. In fact, when I told people, all of them had memories of her and all that. So I will miss her a lot. I'll miss her a lot. I was her confidant. I tell her things as well. But she would call me up and said, you are the one that will listen to me. So let me tell you this one. And I will do whatever. Nǹkan tó bá sọ màá ṣe. Tó bá ti ní kí n má bínú mi ní bínú. So I miss that. I really miss that. I I wanted her to be around more. I know that yes, she's old, she's lived a full life, but she did a lot for us. She did a lot for me. That's why I don't bat an eyelid when she needs something. As long as it's within my power, I want to do it for her because I know what she went through for us. I know what she went through for me. I know what she did, or she ensured that she did, to make sure that we had a quality lifestyle, quality education. She was somebody was saying in church that she reminded him of the Proverbs 31 woman, and that is, yes, I mean, I agree, because there was nothing my mom did not do. There's nothing she cannot do as long as that thing is legit. She's made soap before, she's done nylon before, she's made all these hand rests before, she has taught, she has sold things, she has sold chicken, there's almost, as long as that thing is within her power, she will just try and learn and do it, just to make money. So she taught me the value of hard work, the value of gaining or getting money through honest means, and saving up, prioritizing. I can't keep saying the things that she has taught me, because I don't know how she did it. She was just an all-rounder. She just impacted our lives, every aspect: spiritual, financial, marital, in the kitchen, everywhere. She impacted us like that. So I remember her as a strong woman, very, very strong, hardworking, friendly. You know, she loves to sing, and I will miss her. I will miss her a lot. I'm grateful. I'm grateful to God that she passed on while with me. That was her wish. She didn't want to be alone in the house, with people caring for her when she would leave. She wanted to be in the midst of her children. And I'm glad that she was not just in the midst of her children, she was in the midst of her grandchildren as well. Her grandchildren saw her, just before she died, like a day before she died, 2 days before she died. So I'm grateful that, we were able to do that for her. Um, I pray that I know that God will continue to be. I know that God will continue to be with us, and her legacy lives on. One more thing is that because of how she impacted my life, I was willing and eager to have girls, because I also wanted to impact. It's not easy raising 4 girls. We were four. One passed on some years ago. So raising 4 girls is not an easy task, you know. I dare say 4 beautiful girls, and they are not wayward. It's not easy, but she did that, and she made sure that all of us, we turned out right wherever we were and we are. So I'm grateful to God for that. I thank God that, like people have also been saying to console me, that we are the ones bearing her, and not vice versa. So once again, I really miss her. I will really miss my mom. My mom, a very special woman. I will miss her a lot. But her legacy lives on. That's what we can do to keep her memory alive. All the things that she has been telling us to do, the way she guided us, we will just do that for our children. Thank you.
ó dìgbò ṣe ó dìgbà ó dìgbò ṣe.
màmá sùn láyà ọlọ́run láyà olúwa abiyamọ lọ́jọ́ ìjà yìí tó fọ̀jà rọ̀ o bó o dọ̀rùn kílé bá mi kí ọ̀gá mi o bó o délé kílé ṣàtìyà kó wẹ̀yìn o.
ó dojú àlá ó tún dìgbàrà ó ríra ohun tó bá ń jẹ́ lọ́rùn ní kí màmá bá wọn jẹ ìrìn tó bá ń rìn lọ́rùn o ní kí màmá bá wọn rìn.
màmá lọ rántí pé òkú ọlọ́mọ kì í sùn rárá o má gbàgbé gbogbo ọmọ tó fi sáyé o.